and he took it all from me.
Who do we have here?
Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Into Toys entire toy line collection of Mad Max stuff. We've got the Furiosa movie that's out. I actually enjoyed the Furiosa movie. If you didn't, I'm sorry, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good movie overall. But then again, I love Mad Max. I love the post-apocalyptic toy lines like Spiral Zone. I love all that stuff. I even love the Waterworld toy line. And so with this isn't really a toy line. It's more of a line of statues in here. So we're going to go through this, and I'm going to show you each of them loose and in the package. And some of the stuff I didn't have everything complete when I did my first video, but I was really close, and I didn't have very many carded ones. But now I've got more carded ones, and I feel like it's a fun time because to commemorate a new Mad Max movie, it's been 7 or 9 years, something like that, since we've had one, and it might be another 7 years or more till we get another Mad Max movie, but especially with the box office results of Furiosa. But anyhow, we're going to get into looking at all of this stuff and more coming up. Okay, so I do want to start this out by talking about scale. How does this scale? So it does fit in more of a 6-inch scale than a 7-inch scale, which is at the time like 99 to 01 or maybe 2000, right in the middle. I mean, it's kind of the early days of the 6-inch scale. And they made these figures. This is about how they would scale. This is the new War Duke with the original kind of toy deco look, which I really like that figure. I can be excited about more than one toy line in one video, right? Spiral Zone, Dirt Courage, and the way that they are, it's a little back heavy because of his backpack, so I get to lean him forward just a little bit, stand him up. There's the size comparison there. And then just kind of showing it would fit in with your classified, but too short for Super 7, and just to get an idea of where this toy line scales. Alright, so there were 3 versions of Max. 2 of them in the first series, and then Series 2 over here, I think was mostly released in Canada. I'm not 100% sure because I wasn't collecting this stuff. In 2000, I was still kind of all deep into Star Wars vintage. But there's 3 different ones coming with different stuff. And of course, everybody wants the main hero and the main character, which is kind of interesting. But we'll take a look at each one of these sets as we go. And I'm just going to break down what goes with each one and how they look different. But just kind of, so you can see right here, this one here has a knee pad and he's more beat up than this one. These have etched in side pieces, and the Series 2 one has actually, these are glued to the outside, or maybe just not even glued, just plugged in to the outside of it. And so it's a different, his brace is an actual brace versus just in there. But this one is a little bit different styling, and it's a different figure. Those two are the same figure with just different paint jobs. But let's get a look at each one of them separately. Alright, so here he is. This is the first one I don't have his binoculars. I don't even know how I would display the binoculars. That's probably why they get lost, because everyone's going to display with his gun, and what are you going to do with these binoculars unless you tie a string around it and hang it around his neck or something. But so the special thing with this is you get the dog. And again, I forgot the dog's name. Somebody told me the dog's name, I think in the last video too. But it's just a statue itself. Feels like the head should articulate, but it doesn't. So no head articulation. And then you're going to get this little guy over here in the other set. So that's kind of left that off center, but you can still see it. All right, so here he is. It's not a good head sculpt. It doesn't really match Mel Gibson very well, but I mean, they have the Mel Gibson on the box. You can see it on the box here, but so they have the license for it. They just didn't get the likeness right. Anyway, the likeness rights, but didn't get the likeness right. So he's got no head articulation. His arm goes up and down. This arm goes up and down. He can hold this gun barely. He's got a finger to, I guess, put for a finger trigger in there. And then he's got leg forward and back, and that's it. So 1, 2, 3, 4 POA. 4POA figure. Now it is kind of cool. He's got like an etched in knife here. He's got a holster that doesn't actually holster his gun, which sucks. So this is kind of a terrible toy line, but it's all we got. It's literally all we have. So it's however bad it is, it doesn't really matter because it's all we got. You collect it or don't collect it, right? Do or do not. Then here is the packaging. You can see the dog in there, the binoculars. It says the Road Warrior on it. And then here's the back of it. And all of the first series is going to look just like this. I actually have a loose one of him. I didn't have him in my first picture. I'll be showing it. I have a loose and a sealed of every one of these figures, so we'll get into that. But let's get into the second one that was in Series 1. I want to point out that these all use the same gun. And since I have 3 Mad Maxes loose, I only have 2 guns. So I don't have a gun for each one of them to hold, which isn't really that big of a deal. This guy could have held the binoculars. Now the other guy could have held the binoculars. Never, anyway. So same articulation, same exact figure as the other one, just different paint apps. And he's got this knee brace on here, which he has on the other one, but it's just not painted. And this is painted with, it's not really, those aren't real lines. Are they? No, they are ridges. Okay, well, they are ridges in there. But he's got a shoulder pad on there too. So just a little bit different. Oh, wait. He's got, there's a point of articulation I see on the first one. Right here. This is real loose and it's super tight on the other one, so let's check that out real quick. He does not have articulation there. So this one added an articulation joint right here. Interesting. All this time I didn't really pay attention to that. Very interesting. They at least tried to make them a little better as they went, I guess, as they were making a little money. But it was still from the same series. The other reason to get this set is to get this little guy right here, and he looks exactly, well, not exactly. Face sculpt might be a little different, but he looks really close to the character in the movie. And he's got his boomerang, and he can hold it and throw it. Well, he can't throw it, but he can hold it and be displayed with it. I feel like I'm going to lose this boomerang. It's a pretty good sized boomerang too, but I feel like I am going to lose it. But we'll see it. We'll see this boomerang again when we pull Toady out. And yes, Toady has all his fingers. All right, jumping into Series 3 figure here. So I'm going to be kind of jumping around from Series 2 figure, sorry, Series 2. But this is the new one, and as we did see the comparisons, we already seen this figure, and nope, his arm doesn't swivel right here. So it's just the one that has a swivel right there, and his head actually turns, which is cool. And so this one, if I were to pick one, and I would pick the Series 2 one, because I like mine looking clean. I like the way his jacket looks. I just like this figure a little bit better. Still the same head sculpt, but he has less of a beard. Somehow he's shaved. Or the clean look is probably earlier in the movie, obviously. And later in the movie, he's got more of a beard. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense, I guess. But I do like the look a little bit better on this guy. And so for that, and his pose is slightly different. So he does have his legs posed different. So it's an all new different figure for Series 2. Now, the one thing I don't have loose for this guy is the gas can. And I don't need it. It's just one of those things that it would be a nice to have kind of thing. If I come across it, and I'll pick it up. But I don't really need it. And you could just sub out a G.I. Joe gas can or something if you really wanted to. But that's that. Here's the back of this, which shows the 4 figures for the Series 2. Now, these are harder to get. He's the hardest, then him. Then these two are sort of equally hard to acquire. So next we're going to go into the Gyro Man, which I have to say it's a pretty cool figure. He is the most common. You can probably get him for $20 sealed, and you can probably get him like 12 or 15 bucks loose. I don't know, but he's the easiest one to get for whatever reason. Probably most kids want to open up a Mad Max, and you know the main bad guy character. I think he's kind of a main character too, but he's not. As a kid, if I was playing with this as a kid, which these were really adult collectibles, but he's not the one I would have bought as a kid to play with. I mean, I would have been like, oh, he's all right, but not the coolest. Now he does come with this crossbow. We're going to see this crossbow about 3 times. 3 of them have this crossbow. It's the same one, but they all have different paint apps. So getting the right paint app on the right one to make sure you got the right one is the challenge. He also comes with this snake that can wrap around his arm, which is where I put it. And there's the snake in there. And then he's got this telescope, whatever. I'm saying it wrong. It's not a bat. It's actually so he can look and see what's going on. but he can't hold it to look and see what's going on, so it's kind of silly. He does have this long trench coat like kind of thing here. He's a really skinny dude, and likeness wise, it's not exactly on, but I don't feel like it's as far off as they did with Mad Max. It works for me in this world. I can get with this figure in this world. I think it's an alright looking figure overall. The accessories, not the greatest. And then here we go with it in the card back. We don't really need to look see the back of one. We've seen one back. We've seen them all. Here is Gyro Man. Next up we have Warrior Woman. Now she's one she's right there with Gyro Man as being one of the cheapest to get. And if you wanted to kind of have a couple of few, I don't blame you. Again, I didn't really go into Gyro Man, but he only has he's 5 POA with his shoulders, his legs, and his head. And I have another one of her loose because she is very, very common and easy to get your hands on. So I'll do the articulation. It took me a good 5 minutes to get her to hold all of her accessories and to stand in this weird pose they've got her in. She's supposed to look like she's drawing her bow. And you can sort of almost make it look like that. But I want her to hold all of her accessories, so it just looks like she's just standing there all not knowing what to do or about to take off running or something. I don't know. But she's a cool looking figure. She's got the football armor pads on there. And so that's cool because that's how she was in the movie. And she's a nice looking face sculpt. She doesn't look like a super ugly woman or anything. She looks nice. She looks nice. Not exactly like the actress, but it's fine. And they saved a lot of money on just putting Mel Gibson's face on the packaging. They had to put hers on there. But it's hard to hold these things. I just got it in sideways. And I don't know how this quiver is supposed to clip to the bow and arrow. So I just kind of stuck it in between the bow and arrow and her arm, and it holds. And that's how I've always done it. But let's take a look at articulation. Okay, her arms only can go up there because of this, and then they can go back as far as that. And she has articulation literally only in her arms and her elbow wrist to go side to side, and that's it. That's all she can do. I can't get her head to turn. Her legs don't move, and I guess they wanted to have like an accurate, perfect rear end on her so that she doesn't have articulation. Brian would love this. Brian Flynn would love this. You know what I mean? He's like, there's no articulation points even being shown in this. This is like McFarlane's statue with just a couple of points of articulation. But anyhow, there's Warrior Woman. Next up we got Humongous, and Humongous Among Us. The thing is that we finally get to see his face. What's his face look like? It's like, that's what his face looks like. Good thing he can turn his head. No wonder he wore that thing over his face. I do want to say I don't really think this figure portrays the actor in his size. The actor was even bigger and more muscular than this. But it is what it is. So, there we go. I understand the same actor that plays Humongous... Morton Joe was the guy who played Humongous back in the day. That's what I heard. I might be wrong. Might be wrong on that, but I don't really care. And we had something fall over. Oh, no. Anyway. He comes with this gun, which is kind of cool. You'll see it in the package. And his arms do go up. I don't know why they just, get solid in there. And then he also has this triple axe mace kind of thing, which actually can hold in his hand okay. He can't hold it. He could hold it in this hand, but then what are you going to do with the gun? So, I mean, there's those issues. But he does represent the character really well. He has to be in this kind of weird 1 foot forward stance, and he's hunched over. If they had vehicles or something, he'd be on the vehicle. He's wearing almost nothing. He's almost nude. He is about 88% nude. And then he's got some, what look like, some sort of a hiking boots. Go mountaineer's boots or something. But next up we have Wes. This guy here is pretty cool looking. This is what I think of the Road Warrior. Or Mad Max. This is one of the first I think of. Of course, you think of Mel Gibson, but then this guy. But I think they nailed him. He looks great. Of course, the face sculpt isn't perfect, but he's got the mohawk on there. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. Just really cool looking dude overall. Yeah, I think he looks good. He's got his arrows for his arm-mounted crossbow kind of thing going on right there. That looks kind of good. He's got a strap flap on the back here. So I think they did a great job with this one. And also kind of looks like one of the guys in Weird Science that showed up in the motorcycles at the party, crashed the party. But I think all of his accessories are glued on. They're mounted on and glued on, as you can see right here with the card back, the carded one. Yeah, they're all glued on and mounted on. So then it's much better to not lose them then. Better to not lose them. His head doesn't have head articulation, but he has arm articulation. That's 2, his waist and knee, which I wouldn't push those too far, but he can get him in his, like a pose, something like that. There we go. We'll pose like that. That's about what he is. He's really not made to pose a whole lot, but yeah, there is Wes. He looks pretty cool. I think they did a great job on him, and definitely a must-have if you get in this line. I mean, if you're only going to get like a few figures, he's definitely a must-have. Next up, we have the Golden Youth figure. So this one is the one that would be riding on the back, I think on the back of Wes's motorcycle all the time now. I'm not going to get into what their relationship, or the theory behind their relationship, but Golden Youth, he comes with a bat that I don't have. You can see it right there. And he's got some tattoos on him, like a lizard, or was that a bird or something? He's got some tattoos on him, which I don't know if they do tattoos in the Wasteland. And then he's got a chain over here, as if, what's the chain for, all over him? That's interesting too. But this is the pose that I would say, like you'd see him riding on the motorcycle. He's holding on to the back of the motorcycle as he's riding. But he can't bend his knees to get on a motorcycle. So it's a weird pose that they put him in. And then his bat, I guess he just stands here holding his bat like that. But he's a little back heavy, and he's not standing up on his own there. There he goes. He's standing up on his own. Really, really kind of a strange, interesting figure. I expected more out of this figure, that he was going to actually do something. Series 2 figure, and he's literally just a chunk of plastic with waist swivel, head, and arms. That's it. But that's Golden Youth. Wouldn't mind having a bat for him to hold while he stands there. Here's Toady. He is most famously known for his fingers getting chopped off when he tried to catch that boomerang. And he has fingers intact here, so that's kind of cool. Now, this piece here looks to be like it could be removed if you really gave it some effort. He has head articulation, arms move, and legs. So 5 POA figure, which I don't know, why did they just make them all 5 POA at least? But they didn't. He looks a lot like the movie, but he looks more like the character because he's wearing glasses, so there's really less to have to match. So it looks pretty close, He's got some cool detail and paint apps on him and stuff. He's wearing this sort of rubbery loincloth looking thing too. This thing here is hard plastic. Well, it's rubbery, but it's harder rubber than this. And this is rubbery too, which I think is a hat glued on. So glad they glued a lot of stuff on, because it would be really hard to track it down in the future. But pretty cool stuff. Now, he does come with 2 accessories that I do not have loose, but I have it sealed. And again, if I have it sealed, then I don't really mind not having it loose. I would like to have a loose set of these, but not for, I think it's like 30 or 40 bucks to get this guy loose. I feel like if you're missing any loose accessories, you're going to have to buy a sealed one and open it for the most part, because there's not very many accessories show up for this line. But here it is. There's like the little dolls he comes with. But cool stuff. There's Toady, and glad to have him in the collection. All right, so last figure that we're going to talk about is Bad Cop, which is probably the coolest figure, the most expensive figure, hardest to find figure. I don't know why. This guy, and he commands a pretty hefty price. Even loose, he's like 50 bucks. It's a tough figure to get. And I think I had to get 2 loose ones. I bought 2 lots to get this guy. And I think one came with one accessory, one came with the other accessory that he doesn't hold very well, either one. So, I mean, he should probably hold that with this hand and this with that hand. Neither hand holds either one well. So it's strange. Plus, you're supposed to have him in this walking pose. And this is the same one of these that we see, except the fact that it's got a different coloration to it. So you could, I guess, buy another one of this guy for real cheap and put it in there, but the color is going to be different, which is another pain in the butt that they reused it, but they painted it different. They thought they were slick like Kenner, I guess, but he has glasses, a face mask, a helmet, silver helmet, and then cool jacket. It's a cool looking figure though. Like, I think he's really cool. Kind of feels a little bit, I'm gonna get a Terminator over here in just a second and compare. It kind of feels like a bit along the lines of Terminator. I'd love to see what NECA would do with this line though. That would be awesome. Then again, I don't know if I'd like the price range. Anyhow, there's the package. It just kind of shows the figure and the accessories, the 2 accessories. This whole toy line's giving me kind of the Terminator vibe. I'm seeing it all the way across this toy line, the whole Terminator vibe, but with that Terminator 2, his garb, well, even the first one, but still, pretty cool stuff. Alright, so I hope y'all enjoyed this look at the Into Toys Mad Max Road Warrior toy line. It's a whole lot of fun to have figures of this line, and we're never going to see it again because whoever owns the license does not want to make toys from the license. Kind of as he got older, a moral ethic kind of thing. But anyhow, I'm curious if you're interested in this. Do you guys collect this? Are there 1 or 2 figures that you would collect? And did this help you out at all? Anyway, like and subscribe, and Tiberium hang around.
This is our destiny. My childhood.